You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Vegas After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Vegas After Show.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Did I say them all? Yes, I did. Bing us for doing. This is the 12th episode of the first season of CBS's Vegas. Thank you, AfterBuzzers, for joining us. The episode is called From This Day Forward. I am your host, Thaddeus Massey, and joining me this evening are
the incomparable Nick Perdue.
And
incomparable?
I don't know. It just sounded good.
I mean, I couldn't compare anybody to him. So that's what incomparable means, I guess.
Agree. And I'm Bamm Ericsen.
He kept it simple. Okay. So, he said, yeah, I agree. Oh, yeah, I'm Bamm Ericsen. You guys know me. Bam, 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 bam. Okay. I'm excited, as you guys can hear it in my voice. And oh my gosh. Woo! I feel wait, what was our listener's name that said I should lay off of the Cokes? Because I had an episode where I had like 2 or 3 Cokes.
Watchtower Base?
No, it wasn't Watchtower Base. It was Red something.
I forget.
Off of YouTube.
Oh.
Okay, but I didn't have a lot of Cokes. I'm on a Diet Coke.
Hey,
It's just the fact that I'm really excited because it's probably the best episode of Vegas that there's been so far. I think the guys would agree with me.
Yeah.
And it left a lot of suspense. I mean, actually, because we got the Grammys coming up next week, so we have
Grammys in 2 weeks.
Is it 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we didn't get any foreshadowing for next week.
Well, that's because there's only 9 episodes left, and they have to stretch this until May.
Got you. So are we going to have an episode next week or not?
No.
Okay, so...
And we won't have one the following week because it's the Grammys. So
2-week hiatus.
Yeah. It'll be a couple weeks before we're back.
That's fine. I mean, there's a lot that, can happen between now and then. I don't know about for the show. I mean, production, a lot can happen, but it'll hold us over because there was a lot of stuff that happened in this episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They really brought a lot of stuff to a head, so to speak. Wow, let's just get right into it. We start the episode off, Jack Lamb.
Naked. Again. Or topless.
Bucketed nakeded.
Uh-huh.
Under Mia's bed.
Yeah.
Daddy Rizzo comes in.
Like a sophomore in high school.
He's not under Mia's bed because he's in the bed under the covers.
No, he was under the bed.
No, he was under the bed.
Physically under the bed.
He was hiding.
Under the bed.
He was hiding under the bed.
Yeah.
Maybe that was when I was getting my popcorn. My bad.
Probably. But he was hiding under the bed because he climbed out from under after Johnny left the room. Anyway, so that's how to show you what kind of episode it was.
Welcome. That's what that is.
I want to see them actually, get it cracking. I'm tired of seeing this after.
If it was HBO, then you would see it.
I don't want to see the afterglow. I want to see the glow.
You want to see the wash, rinse, and repeat.
Yeah, I want to see the pop off, especially with Sarah Jones.
That's pine
Sarah,
baby.
Hi, Sarah. You're gorgeous. Anyway, so let's talk about this old flame.
Yeah, Barbara.
We'll get back to Jack and Mia in a little bit, guys. But what we want to do is talk about Barbara Kent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be Barbara Howard.
Babs.
Now she's Barbara Kent. Shows up.
8 years later.
Yeah.
8 years
looking a little rough, looking like an old catcher's mitt, but that's beside the fact.
Wow.
Looking like an old leather purse, but again, that's beside the fact.
Wait, actually, I'm gonna disagree with you on that because A leather purse is very sturdy and it lasts a long time.
She's lasted.
Yeah,
No, she didn't. She looked like the Joker. You see, like right here.
A little bit.
Yeah, she looked like the Joker to me. Like I couldn't take her.
But I know that's makeup and all that kind of stuff. That's actually, I can't remember the actress's name. She's very talented and very pretty, but they did that on purpose because they can't have somebody come and outshine the ADA, who has to be the primary love interest for Ralph Lamb. And I appreciate they did a good job. They did a good job of understating her beauty for this episode.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Anyway, so apparently, they used to date a long time ago, and Dixon has
He can't stand her.
he doesn't like her. He feels like she left my dad high and dry, broke my dad's heart. Of course, as a kid, you don't know the
true story.
the true story of what's going on, and we find out later that. As we already know, and this is a good thing. This is something that they've already revealed in backstories, that we know that Ralph is hung up on the memory of his wife, which is Dixon's mother.
Yeah. And
she was probably with him and competing with that. And she couldn't pull him away from that ranch. Of course, if he had a life there with his wife, and his wife died in a car crash, right? If she passed away or whatever, then he would always have these memories of her. Yeah. That's never going to go away. That's not going to happen. He's not allowing himself to move forward, and
to let go.
Right.
Yeah.
Plus, she wanted to see the world and all this other stuff. I mean, one thing, her. Okay, let's go to the actual situation of why she, quote unquote, was supposedly there to begin with.
Robbery, homicide.
So there was a robbery. Was it a robbery, homicide, or just a robbery?
Robbery.
Okay, it was a robbery. So her now husband had just been mugged. Strong armed. They jacked $5,000, put him in a coma, put him in a hospital. Which was really funny to me that this dude was, he had to bust it open lip later, but he was walking around in a suit. You're not that operational that soon after a coma. As far as,
well, I don't think he was in a coma. I think he was in a coma.
They mentioned that he was in a coma.
No, but didn't Ralph, when he went to the bookies or those guys, he said that he was in a coma, but let me go talk to him, and he's like, I thought he was in a coma. He's like, oh, did I say that?
Oh, okay.
So he really wasn't in a coma. That was just his way of
getting the information.
Yeah.
I see. Scare the guys to giving them information. Okay. Got you.
So he was in a coma.
Got you.
But when she came to him, Barbara said that that her husband didn't want to come because of their past. So she came on the husband's behalf. He didn't want to actually even report the robbery.
Which is really stupid.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to let your wife go report it to her ex-flame?
Well,
he knew he was the second choice, too? What is that?
But also, looking back, she probably initiated. He may have had reservations, and it was her. Oh, okay. Well, I'll go talk. You just stay and you lay and you put the ice or the meat on your eye. You get better, and I'll go talk to him because why? She wanted to see him. She still loved him, and she wanted to see what's up with potentially getting back with him or getting a kiss or whatever she wanted to do. So it was so it was really her. I feel that it was really her doing to want to go back to see Lamb.
Yeah, but
he should have manned up and said, he's the sheriff. It's his job to investigate. Have him come over here, and I'm laid up. Have him come over here. If you're gonna see this guy, I'm gonna be there too. You're not going over there and show up and
rekindle.
All right. Yeah. I spent a lot of money on those European vacations that we went on. Okay.
And that watch.
And all those.
All gold in that watch.
All gold in that watch.
Stop. Oh my God.
That was for Steve. Yeah. So let's, Ralph gets caught up in this episode. There was also an whodunit.
Yeah.
With this divorce ranch. I've never heard of divorce ranch before.
Interesting.
In my life, or divorce anything besides a divorce party, where people have parties.
Right.
I've heard of that, but I've never heard of a divorce facility, which is like a divorce rehab center where people can
Tired of your relationship?
You know, I guess some kind of status or societal status thing where it's like it's okay now after you've been here for such a period of time. Now you can go back into society, which in the '60s is kind of like okay.
It sounds stupid, but maybe to help women and protect women so that they're not just left hung and dry anywhere, like most women are today. It kind of allows them to get themselves together, kind of recuperate, and before they get thrown out because they don't, you know, women didn't work and they didn't have a lot of jobs back in those days. I'm assuming that this is a way to kind of keep them protected until they could eventually go out on their own.
So it's like AA for divorces.
Yeah.
Well, see, back in those days, what 1960 what was the population of the world? This is about what? I don't know. So they can afford to do that. Now it's
2
way
billion,
too many
maybe.
people.
Yeah.
So until they get this, you know.
Until the plan comes together.
Until the plan comes together, then you know. Anyway,
Gold dollar my watch.
exactly. So
Don't believe me, Jim. Anyways,
okay, so back to the episode. We've got to find. He was like, Steve hates that song. He's our producer. He hates that.
you can cut off my mic in a minute.
All right. You say that one more time. Anyway, so Jack and Mia, the confrontation with their dad in the restaurant.
They were set up. They were both set up. Johnny and Jack were set up by Mia. Mia was like, you know what?
Was that a setup?
Yeah, it was a setup.
Because after he was under the bed, apparently, she didn't want to do any more hiding.
Yeah, she was
him
tired
to
of
know,
that.
She wanted him to know, well, you know, what's going on.
The jig was up.
You know, and so we've talked off camera about how Mia's love for Jack is questionable.
Right.
Well, maybe this displays that her love,
him.
that she loves him.
She loved him.
But what I thought was interesting, can we talk about that whole conversation?
Yeah, go right ahead, Bamm.
What was interesting is he was like, I love your daughter, and you know, you're gonna have to get used to it.
He said he said I'm not going anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
And
He said, let's call it truce.
and he gave him that smirk like
Do it. Do something.
I dare you.
And then he was like, you know, I won't respect you. You won't. And then he kind of brought it to reality.
Right.
You know, I won't respect you. You won't respect me.
He said you're never gonna like me. I'm never
Yeah.
gonna like you.
Yeah.
But for kind of like for Mia's sake, let's call it truth.
And then he also threw in there, but I love your daughter.
I love your daughter.
Which is, and that was the first time it was revealed.
Right.
Yeah. But then also, Mia did call Jack her boyfriend.
Yeah.
To Rizzo?
To
Did she?
Rizzo, yeah.
Okay, I didn't
That's
catch
the
that.
first time that we've heard her say that he's her boyfriend.
Well, she's not the sleeping around type.
Well, yeah, but she hasn't said it though. You know,
obviously
just any, you know.
Right. Of course, she hasn't labeled. They haven't officially had a title.
Remember on our podcast last week, you know, we were talking and you were saying, well, you don't know if, you know, if she feels that like he's her boyfriend and this and that. And so like this week was the confirmation.
She put it out there.
She did.
She's like, this is my man.
And
Daddy.
Rizzo, I thought his response was great because obviously he couldn't, you know, make a scene or blow up right then and there. And so he'll just said, you know.
Which is uncharacteristic of him, not to cut you off, because he is but I think he is so pissed.
Right.
I think
he didn't know what to do with
because
himself.
this is personal. This has nothing to do with business.
Yeah.
And it's kind of something that's intermingled where business and personal have kind of bumping heads.
Coexistence.
And this dude is you see his face? He's pissed. As he should be. I mean, I would be pissed. At the same time, I think if you think about it from his perspective, I think he would know that his daughter, the guy is not just getting some. Like, no guy's just going to come out and say, I love your daughter. You know, it's like,
especially
that's a declaration. Right, that's a declaration. And, you know, these are good old boys. They're, you know, it'd be different if he was a Chicago, back home slicker, something like that, city slicker guy. But he's a good down-home ranch guy who just happens to throw roadblocks for their business. Which is a problem, but on a personal level, when it comes to the relationship and somebody looking after and being a good guy for his daughter, I think he should be like, well, he's a good guy, but I can understand him being upset at the same time, especially how he is. It makes sense. Go ahead. What are you gonna say, Bamm?
I can totally see both sides. So I could see from the father's perspective, and I could just see from the business side. But I thought it was smart that Jack was so in his face, just to let him know, because again,
He's still the sheriff. He's still the sheriff's deputy.
But not only that, but that kind of Rizzo's kind of character, people fear him. He's scary. He does crazy things. He'll shoot you in the middle of the street. So for Jack to stand up and declare his declarations right in front of his face and basically get him to look like I dare you to say something,
Right.
you know, it kind of threw him off his guard because Rizzo's not used to someone speaking something like that.
And,
That's true.
Yeah.
You know,
He's the boss everywhere else in Vegas.
Yeah.
what I think is it was two parts, because one, it was to show Rizzo, you know, it was like, yo, you know, I can go toe to toe with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's also to show Mia, like, I'm not afraid of your daddy,
Right.
you know, and because
Yeah.
you saw her face when she was like, "Oh."
Right. When he's, I mean, I don't think, has he ever told her, I don't think he's ever told her I love you.
Yeah, not on camera.
Not on camera. And so it seems as if they have something established. And because this is coming to a head, I think Mia is trying to establish something in independence with her dad.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think Jack was like, this is a perfect time for me just to put it out there.
Yeah.
And she even asked him, she was like, yeah, you know, you told him that you love me. And he was like, yeah, you know, that was kind of a tactical error. I kind of just threw that out there for the sake of, you know, really proving to your dad.
She knows that's not no tactical error.
But, you know, that was interesting. Little
But I
interaction
think
for them too.
the thing that I can appreciate about how the writers, and I want to give it up to Vegas writers on this because you guys really got this right. When it comes to the intricacies of a relationship and how things go, sometimes that can be tricky in writing that. You know, I mean, just the specifics of it. And the fact that how that developed, she felt like this guy that I'm seeing, I really care about, we probably can never be. But I'm sick of this, after she's been with him for a while and they're seeing each other, of course their feelings are going to grow and they're going to deepen or whatever. But he kind of stood up to my dad, who was the boss of all this,
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Stood up.
Yeah.
So what else could she do? What does she do? She goes and stands up to her dad like, he took a stand, now I have to take a stand.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to always be under this cloud. And then she had to think about all the things, you know, she mentioned it. Go ahead, Nick, what were you going to say?
I think that, you know, him taking the stand, it was like he's showing her I'm all in, you know, and that's what
Right.
he's saying. He was like, I'm committed to you. Like, this is, you know, like, I want you to be my girl. Like, you know, like all this, you know, backdoor stuff that we're doing is like, I can show you that, you know, this is it for me. Like, this is, you know, I'm 100%. And so
Right.
she saw that. And so, you know, she may have been 80 or she may have been 90. But then after she saw that, she's like, okay, like, I feel that I can be 100 with him now. And like what you were saying, Thad, is that, you know, she had to stand up to her dad, too. Because, like, well, he did it. So, you know.
I'm going to be 100% honest too.
Go ahead, Ben. Be
We need
100% honest.
you to give your 100% support on iTunes. Okay, we need you guys to go to iTunes. We need you to download. It's free. You need to rate us. You need to comment, and you need to tell a friend, as many people as you possibly can, because we are destined to get into the AfterBuzz TV iTunes Top 10.
Yes.
We have a lot of great shows here on AfterBuzz, which a lot of us, you know, we're a part of different shows, but Vegas, we want you to go to iTunes, download, rate, leave a comment. Boom, it's right there.
There it is.
Tell mama and them.
Okay, you can leave all your comments.
You can rate and tell a friend, please, as well.
And then don't forget about the podcast app. And what that does is it organizes all of your subscriptions that we have here on AfterBuzz TV. We have over 50 shows for the new fall and winter season of 2012-2013. And there's shows for everybody. So if there's anything that you like on TV, we cover it. We do after shows for it. So don't forget the podcast app.
Exactly.
All
And,
right.
and you can subscribe to us on YouTube as well, and subscribe to us on Twitter, just so you know what's going on and see who's doing what show, and you can see what recaps are going on, as well as iTunes. So
There you go.
me and Jack again. This is serious.
It is.
So Mia stands up to her dad, and the fact that she brings up the conditions under which she was raised, being his daughter,
Explains her character.
explains her character a lot.
Yeah.
And especially for me, because I've had this thing,
This reservation
about how she really is so unattached. It seems, even though she's dating this guy and unemotional.
Well, let's just back up just a little bit. So once Rizzo finds out that his daughter's dating Jack, Rizzo goes to Savino and says to fire his daughter to get her out of there.
Exactly.
And then of course Savino doesn't want to because she's the best thing around.
She's the best accountant.
She's the best
in
accountant.
Vegas.
So of course Savino has to do it, and of course he lies to her and says, "Oh, I had to hire somebody else." And
Chicago wanted somebody else.
And Mia, she knows it. She was like, "Okay, who is it? What's his name?" She's asking all of these questions. So she's smart as a whip, and so she knows.
She knows he's lying.
And so she knows that he's lying and that his dad's up to it. So then she goes and confronts her dad, and she says. She confronts him, and then something that the dad said that Rizzo said that was interesting. He was like, "You shouldn't be working here. This is a waste of your time. You should be working at a bank."
Right.
I mean, in those days, that's plausible because she's an accountant.
She's an accountant.
That's true, and you're making a good point, Bam. And the reason is because she went to Wharton Business School, which is to this day like one of the top business schools in the country. She graduated from this place, and especially, I guess there were more actually, probably stereotypical chauvinistic views on what a woman should be doing and kind of jobs they should be having. Oh, you should be working in a bank or being a teacher or something like that back in those days, in that era. But she's been to Wharton Business School.
Yeah.
So she's very overly qualified, extremely qualified to do what she's doing, where she's doing it, and the fact that the proof is in the pudding.
And her response was, "I should be working at a bank, but guess what? I interviewed for all of the 36 or
36, there's 36 corporations in America.
And I didn't get not one interview. You know why I didn't get an interview? Because of my last name.
Because I have your last name.
So she threw it out there like,
Right.
my life has been ruined because of your name, your reputation, and what you've done.
She said she didn't go to prom.
She couldn't go to prom.
She didn't have any boyfriends because they're afraid of the dad.
Afraid of getting whacked.
I mean, wouldn't you?
No.
Kneecaps.
So, I mean, her life she's kind of suffered, this girl.
Yeah, and so
Sheltered. She's very sheltered.
Yeah.
And she took it in and she said she's applying at the casino next door.
She said Golden Nugget and what was the other one?
Card House.
Yeah.
Something Card House.
Yeah,
I
Card
just
House.
remember Golden Nugget because obviously that's still around.
Right. And that would be really dumb. To lose her, really. Like, that would be so stupid to lose her.
But
because she said, "I'm not leaving Vegas." Now, that's the Rizzo coming out of her. I'm not leaving Vegas.
And I'm not leaving Jack.
And I'm not leaving Jack. Exactly. That's exactly what she said. And she walks out. And now he's really pissed.
And because this is personal, he's not thinking about the business side. He's not thinking about losing.
Right.
He's not
It's all
thinking about
emotion.
He's not thinking about his daughter, the smart business accountant. He's
Right.
not thinking about that. He doesn't want his daughter with this bum dude. That's what she's thinking.
He did say, "I'm trying to do right by you." He said, "I'm trying to do," like, really? If you were trying to do right by your daughter, your ass wouldn't be in the mob, dude. You wouldn't be in the mafia if you're trying to do right by your daughter. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, nah, you're not trying to do right by your daughter because your whole lifestyle puts her in danger.
He's not
unless she's neck deep in it too and doing the damn thing. So I mean,
she's not thinking straight. He's not thinking straight.
He's thinking sensibly based on him.
Yeah. And that's kind of what she said. She was like, everyone has to be miserable in order for you to be, in order for you to feel
because
good.
he's lonely, he's miserable.
But like mobsters, you got to think back. Even now, something to show like an excuse they have for themselves is their family. Like they make excuses to cope with what they're doing and all the things they're doing. So saying he's looking out for her as being a mobster, like it's his way of making what he's doing right. Yeah, he's trying to justify everything he does.
Yeah, well, he has to justify it. Otherwise, his whole sensibility of what he's doing for a living and what his lifestyle is wouldn't even make sense. Yeah. And he'd have to go to the monastery and become a preacher or something like that.
But that's pretty much what we all do as men, is we always try and justify our actions when we know we're wrong. So.
Okay, I'm not going to even justify that with a response. Bam. Is that what men do?
Well, women do too, but I know we can relate to that
Of course.
situation.
You're right. Men tend to, make a decision You know, it's like the old, you know, a lady will tell her husband while they're going on the road trip, no, I think you have to go this way. I think you have to make a right. And he's like, no, I know where I'm going. I know the whole directions thing. You know, even though he even back of his head is like, I think she's right. I'll drive another 100 miles and then I'll turn around and I'll go the other way. And be like, see, you got to go this way.
For her to fall asleep.
Right.
But this is a great segue that we're speaking about men, women. This is a perfect way to talk about Savino and his wife because they kind of had that same situation tonight.
Now, the thing with Savino and his wife, I can really appreciate. No, Vanessa Shaw, you're bellissima, Vanessa Shaw.
You do not look like an old catcher's mitt.
Now, Vanessa
You
Shaw.
are so incredibly beautiful.
She's incredibly beautiful. And let me tell you why. She is gorgeous because she looks good whether she's a brunette or whether she's a blonde. She's hot. What can I say? She does look good.
That was pretty good.
That was all right, but I'm just saying
Can you keep that voice for about just
Yeah, just keep it for the rest of the.
I just happened to see Vanessa Shaw in a movie called 310 to Yuma, starring what's his name?
Antonio.
Russell Crowe and Christian Bale.
There
Correct?
you go.
The Batman guy, right? They call him the Dark Knight. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna break character on that.
It kind of went into a little of a Jamaican there on the end there, you know.
Kind of went to the Jamaican. So she looks good regardless. Brown hair, blonde hair. She was totally dressed down. You know, no makeup, not glamorous. She's kind of glamorous because she's a mob boss's wife. So she's a little glamorous. She looks good regardless. She's just smooth.
Sop her up with the biscuit.
Vanessa with an I, V-I-N. She's hot. So I really could appreciate what this character is doing. It's Laura, right? Character's name is Laura.
Laura Savino.
Yeah.
So she's actually making the moves that a boss should be making.
Right.
Now, this is the irony behind this whole, just like you said, Bamm, the whole man-woman relationship thing, is that she's doing what he already should be doing. Yet, she just didn't disclose what she was doing and how she was going about doing it. But she's doing it because she knows it's best not to tell her husband because her husband doesn't want her involved. He's going to get in his own way. And this is the problem with Vince. He's getting in his own way with this situation with Rizzo. So now, that's like, you know, the husband and wife thing where it's like I make my husband think that he's the one that came up with this great idea when I'm really the one that gave him this idea. This is why wives get half of the money. They say, you know what? The wife was the one that probably dropped this and he made $1 billion, but it was really the wife's idea.
So she was with him shooting in the gym.
Right. Exactly.
But, you know, also, earlier in the episodes, Savino actually used her for something. I can't remember what it was. And so it's like he wants to
get the bank loan.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to and for the election.
When it's
for the mayor.
When it's convenient,
He's gonna use it.
he's gonna use her.
Yeah, but see, this is his one flaw. His one flaw right now is he made a big mistake of sending his wife back to Chicago and scolding her in this situation. And he probably feels like he can't trust her. But see, this is going to be his Achilles heel. The fact that, just like she said before she went back, everything she's doing is for the family, just like what he's doing for their survival. And what is all he's doing right now? All he's going to do is carry out her same plan of what she was already doing.
Yeah.
So who's the man in the relationship?
But
Laura.
He made a good point when he was just saying about it's not a good idea because we'll be in and out of course for 5 years. That was a good point, but I like how she came right back and she said, well, I came up with this plan because we don't have anything else. Do you have a plan?
Exactly.
And did he?
And
No.
And that showed teamwork. She was like, okay, well, do you have a plan?
Tag team.
And not even on some like, this was what I had to offer. Do you have something else that I don't know about? Let's do it.
Yeah.
It wasn't even on like some smart like, well, do you have something better than what because I know you don't because you're stupid and I'm smart. It wasn't even like that. She wasn't coming like on that sassy attitude. She's like on some survival mode tip. Like as long as Rizzo is running stuff, then
they're not.
It's a
where
no
they're
bueno
supposed to be.
situation. Yeah, it's a no bueno situation, and it's a dead end because they already lost a tumbleweed because they almost got their brains blown out by these hillbillies. You know, because he was trying to punk the banker. Like, so Rizzo is really
Sloppy.
screwing
Very
up,
sloppy,
dude.
put it that way.
He is really cleaning up. You know, just like Vince said to his boy. And we'll talk about the elephant. What is the elephant root? Elephant dust? Is that what they had back then instead of Viagra?
The elephant tusk.
Elephant tusk.
Yeah.
He had to, snort some of that or do whatever. It's just because he's dating this 26-year-old
Viagra for the 60s.
showgirl.
Yeah.
So Viagra for the 60s. I'm sure that was just hilarious.
You know, it keeps your noodle.
He's just the noodle. The noodle. That's how they refer to it. Yeah. Nick, I like you remember the noodle. You can't have a limp noodle.
No, it has to be al dente.
Yeah, I'll be out of there. Anyway, so how did Savino know that there was a rat in the casino?
He was told by the DA.
Oh, that's right. So
up.
the DA has him come out because the DA did meet with the ADA, Catherine, last week, and tried to find out who the informant was. So now he knows there's a rat. He reports it to Savino. And Savino's like, you're hopeless. Like, you can't even find out from your own. He said, fire her or punish her for insubordination. He's like, yeah, it doesn't work like that. It'll be too obvious. Blah, blah, blah.
Did he also throw in the fact that she did something and she opened her legs up? Did you catch that?
No.
Okay.
But somebody opened their legs?
No. When Savino,
Talking about
when
leg
Savino
spread.
was talking about Catherine, he alluded the fact that, she was only working there because of what she did to get there. Like, he was kind of.
Oh, no, this is when he jumped in the car.
No,
after the investigation.
This is when he was talking with the DA. Was when he was like, well, cough up the name, and he was like, I can't because the AD has it. And he was like, and then that's when he started to make those insults about her.
Right. So now that he knows, he's on this investigation to find out who
it is. Who's the rat?
Who the rat is.
Yeah.
And one thing I like about what the writers did again, the writers were on point this episode, Vegas writers. I got to give you guys mad props again, because how they developed this investigation, even though he found out the same episode and didn't carry on for 2 or 3 episodes, it made sense how he found out, and it wasn't like that was fake. How was he gonna blah blah blah? He went to all the probabilities first.
The people working in the casino.
He weeded it down, and just like how Vincent would find something out or investigate it because he's a smart guy, he found out based on the schedule. Scheduling,
But
Laura was scheduling her.
They thought that it was the secretary. So check your secretary first, to see if she was the one doing it. He's like, well, she's not that smart, but.
And then his boy invited her to lunch so he could use his elephant tusk, and then he can, Vince can go and check the schedules and see whatever that Laura. And then he sees
that his wife has a hair appointment every day at 4 o'clock.
every day that the informant was meeting with the ADA.
Yeah.
So Vincent pops up in the car. Want to talk about that, Nick?
Trying to be gangster. Let me put it this way: Vincent, in his mobster mentality, basically, for lack of better words, I'm not gonna paraphrase everything, but threatens the ADA, right? And then she takes it in stride. I have to say, like, she didn't really flinch or anything, but she pulls out a pistol, right, and points it dead at him.
No, she was the center mass.
And
she was right there. It was Trinity style from the Matrix.
Yeah, that was definitely Trinity. And actually, this in this car, this was Trinity, and this was Michael Chiklis from The Shield in this car during this scene. That's what that was.
Right.
So and then Vincent was like, "Oh, you think you're the only person who pulls out a gun at me, or who had a gun pointed at me?"
And then he did make the comment about the legs. This is in my notes. But anyway, so okay, go ahead.
So
that's when he made it was in the car.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying. It was in the car.
Yeah, you're right. My bad.
Who was right?
Club Thaddeus.
Thank you very much. So go ahead, Nick. The more you know.
So.
And she pulled it out quick.
She did. Gold plated. It looked like it was gold plated.
Dude, she pulled that gun out. So he was like, "Don't you ever talk to my wife." You're close. Gold all of my gun.
Don't believe me, just
She pulled that gun out so quick.
She did.
He thought he had the last word, and you would have thought that he had the last word based on what he was saying. He's like, "Don't you talk a word to my wife again." He was about to get out the car.
Or else it'll be the last words you ever speak.
And then she said, "People like me kill people like you."
In cold blood.
In cold blood, yeah, and can get away with it.
And get away with it. I'll never see the inside of a cell. Dude,
Not
her
one
face,
day.
I believe she would
have shot him right there.
I believe, dude.
Would have shot him dead.
No, in fact, I thought she would have shot him in the shoulder just to prove a point. Like, she just kind of clipped him.
Maybe get him in the kneecap. And then he would have walked in saying, I tripped and fell.
Exactly.
Like at the casino.
Exactly.
Like he had her, she had him spooked.
Yeah.
Like when the old church ladies used to pack their pistols in their purses.
Yeah. That was my great grandmother was one of those ladies.
Yeah, my great grandmother was too.
And she had and you're like, oh, she ain't got no gun. Next thing you know, what's popping off?
It was a big old magnum she pulled.
Big
You
old
won't
gun.
try me, sucker. You know, she hit you with that. Peppermints falling out of her purse.
He said and obituaries and old fans. Obituaries, fans, and peppermint candy. Okay.
You better put that offering back a little bit. You know, you trying to make change in the offering plate. You better put that offering back for the Lord.
Nicholas Perdue, ladies and gentlemen, what a fool. Anyway, so this she pulls the gun out so quick on this guy. She scared the Holy Ghost in him. They're talking about church. No, but you can look at his face and you can tell that he was like,
he was scared.
oh, she's
not playing.
He's like, she's serious. She's serious.
She would dump on me. And what is anybody gonna say? If she pops me right now, they're gonna be like, oh, he came in my car and he attacked me.
Yeah, they would have put
in broad daylight.
Which we thought was interesting how Catherine and Laura was meeting in broad daylight, but you know.
So she's the gangster.
Yeah.
She really knows her position. So I was really impressed
Checkmate.
with the
That's what that was. You're like, okay.
Right.
Checkmate.
So it was like he better figure it out.
And he did.
He better figure the situation out. But the thing that he's screwing up is sending his wife home.
Yeah.
That was, maybe he feels bad. Maybe he has to take it out on her because he got punked by a lady.
Pretty much.
No, maybe so. Think about it. Like all that chauvinistic, I run stuff thing. I'm the boss. And his wife got him punked by the ADA. Or his wife was working with her.
Yeah.
He comes in here trying to be big, strong arm dude and gets punked. He gets punked. I mean, he gets punked. There's no else to put it. And not Ashton Kutcher punked either. I mean, hood punked. Street punked.
And so he sent her off to Chicago.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sad about that. I hope she doesn't stay there for long. I think he'll realize that it's a mistake and he will need her and bring her back maybe after a few episodes. There has to be a way that he has to bring her back and incorporate her into the fold.
Yeah.
He can't.
Well, because she's a very integral part.
She is an integral part. Now, it's sad that he's blinded by either emotion or
Ego,
machismo, whatever it may be, that he needs to send his wife back home when she is the only one that could really see outside the box and what he needs to do and how he needs to do it.
And just an early prediction, he's going to have to beg her to come back.
He is going to have to beg her to come back.
So he's going to eat those words.
I don't think he's going to beg her to come back. I think he's just going to...
He's going to need her.
He's going to somberly tell her, I need you. And the way he says it, she's going to know that he's sorry.
I think he'll just suggest it. Be like, I think you should...
I don't think her kind of character... Because
What? I was upset.
Because you remember...
Get over it. I was upset. Come kiss my ring.
There was a couple of things he said. He said, now thank me for saving your life. He was like, get on the plane and be thankful you can hear me saying this goodbye. Like, those are some really hard words. And as a woman,
emotional.
She's not going to forget those things. So if she comes back, she's definitely going to throw something back at him for that, because she's not the kind of wife that just she doesn't roll over.
I think it might be even on her own terms too. She's like, if I'm coming back, I'm doing this, and this.
Yeah, that was he made a very emotional decision by doing that. But we'll see.
He made an emotional decision. Rizzo made an emotional decision this episode.
They did say it was the week of the women.
Yeah, it was ladies' night tonight. It was definitely ladies' night.
I mean, open bar before 11 o'clock for you guys. You guys
free before 10.
Yeah, you guys did a good job. I mean, you got the ADA did her thing. Then you got the Mia Rizzo did her thing. And then you've also got Laura, who played an integral part in this whole situation.
And let's just shout out Yvonne real quick. Let's just throw it out there.
And then
Who? Yvonne?
Yvonne.
Is that Amy Garcia?
That's Amy Garcia.
That situation with her and Dixon is really hilarious. It's really funny. Go ahead, Bam. What are you about to say?
just speaking of women, and then the murder was based
On a woman,
Was
yeah.
was on a woman.
A divorce ranch,
Right. That's true.
run by the murderer who happened to be a woman.
Do
Right.
you want to discuss the murder really quickly? Because it was kind of the
It's always the backdrop every week.
Yeah.
You know, for me personally, it's about everything that revolves around the casino, and they have to have something to do. They're
Gotta give the
sheriffs.
sheriff something to do.
They're sheriff / detectives /
Ranchers.
CSI Vegas, 1960. So they're always going to have some new whodunit, but none of the viewers are going to be really invested in any of these murders because they happen every week, and you don't know who these characters are. You want to see what's going on with the characters that you already have.
So
that are
basically-
very, very profound and have a lot going on.
Well, real quick recap on that. There was a love triangle between the head lady at the divorce ranch, and there was another lady who was at the divorce ranch for longer than the typical woman would be at the divorce ranch.
Right.
And she became like the new social coordinator, or whatever she calls it. And so essentially, she liked her, but there was this other gentleman who was at the ranch who had a fond liking to this new social coordinator, and
Marjorie.
so the head lady, I forget her name, but she's been working with this man for at least 5 years or so, and so she developed a crush, might have you say, and she saw what was going on between Marjorie and this guy, and she got a little jealous. So
I think it was more than a crush. This is more than a crush.
infatuation, whatever you want to call it, but
singing Crush Groove.
either way, she had Marjorie offed.
What's
She didn't have Marjorie off.
Oh,
she
she
offed
offed
her
Marjorie.
herself.
Yeah,
She shot her in the back.
What's really interesting when it comes to murders, because this happened when I was recapping Castle. Whenever someone it's revealed, the cops reveal that we know that you did it, the victim, the people who do the murdering always go into this big, long, drawn-out story as to why they did something. So what? Who cares?
Right.
They always have that monologue.
There's always that monologue, and so she had her monologue, and Dixon was just really looking at her like, for real? Seriously?
This episode's only 40 minutes.
Yeah,
so you
really,
gotta wrap
bitch.
it up.
Okay. He was like, okay, yeah, you're under arrest, ma'am. He just let her talk, and he looked at her, and he's like, okay, yeah, you're under arrest, ma'am.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Shut the front door.
Thanks for coming through and your little 30 seconds on the show.
Yeah.
Appreciate ya. Appreciate ya, bruh.
Figure for your scale check on the way.
Exactly.
She got her 5 lines or more.
Right. Exactly.
Go pick up, go see Eric, and he'll,
Eric.
that's the guy.
That's the PA's name that she's picking up her skill check from.
Yeah, sign.
Anyway, okay, so that wasn't a very big part of the show, as they usually never are. But I'm
But
really
thank you for them, writers.
I'm really glad that there's a relationship developing between Dixon and what's her name? Yvonne. And I like their chemistry. I like the fact that he's a ladies' man and he gets all the ladies, but she's not interested in him whatsoever, and that is of course intriguing to a guy, and he's gonna want to pursue her more because of it. Now, once he finally gets her, which he has to eventually, what's gonna go from there? Not to answer that right now, but of course that's when I don't know. That might be the beginning of his settling down days.
Potentially, or it may
So they can have an ambiguously.
it may
ethically
happen,
ambiguous
and
child.
then it may end, and then it may end. And
Yeah, it could just be like a real quick,
and then it ends, and then eventually they go back to each other, or maybe she starts dating somebody. But there's many ways that this can go. But what's really interesting is all the men are tied to one woman.
Yeah, pretty much.
Savino has
his wife.
Jack has Mia. Ralph has the ADA, and then Dixon has Yvonne.
Sort of,
kind of, but that's
What I'm hoping does not happen, because really quickly, we only have a little bit of time left, but really quickly, Savino was setting up this scenario where Jack can off Rizzo
yeah.
for him, and that's the scenario
that he wants,
that he needs in order for it not to be blamed back on them.
Absolutely, because that's actually very important.
That is very important.
He protects. Obviously, he goes and tells Rizzo that his daughter Mia was
The rat.
and
Yeah.
that
She was influenced by Jack.
that she was influenced by Jack. He was basically protecting his wife. So Savino opened up a huge can of worms by throwing Mia under the bus to protect his wife and to now cause friction because he also found out that Mia and Jack were together based off what Mia had slipped to him when she was like, does this have anything to do with the fact that I'm dating Jack? So he listened to that, he took that information and he ran with it.
Well, that was perfect timing also
Yeah.
because everybody's emotionally compromised already. So now you don't know who to trust. Now Rizzo doesn't know if he can trust his daughter or what's going on. If it was just a regular ordinary day, he would not have been able to pull that off. Mia did. He would have been like, "Screw you, dude. I'm gonna shoot you in the head right now." Yeah, I know Mia wouldn't do that. So what are you trying to pull?
Yeah.
Type of thing. But because of what's going on, now there's trust issues.
It's
and
hanging
trust
in the
questions.
balance now.
Right. It's like
Yeah.
looming over their head and distrust. So
It's a
I
great
just,
segue.
I probably, if I was in bed with, they did see a little steaminess. They were in bed.
They were.
And you know what? The fact is, they showed her a little loosened up. I think she feels like she's got a lot off her chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was the best. That was probably the best session they've had.
For us.
Yeah.
So, he was, Savino was calling to warn Jack about this, so obviously he can get his guns ready and then take care of business, but he's busy
Taking care of business.
with Mia.
So you think it was Savino that was warning Jack?
No, that's what he said he was gonna do.
That was some calling. Yeah,
He did it on purpose. He said that he was gonna- He said, I'm going to warn him. He said, he told Rizzo that on purpose, knowing Rizzo would go after Jack.
Yeah.
And just playing upon his predictability.
Gotcha.
That what I'm going to do is I'm going to warn Jack.
Yeah.
Jack knows he's coming. He's going to take care of him.
Yeah.
It's going to get done. And then it's going to be like, well, the sheriff shot him.
Exactly.
And what was stuck in his head was the ADA saying, if one of them kill one of us, Chicago's not going to ask. They're not going to ask any questions.
Yeah.
It's not like he got dumped in a shallow grave in the desert somewhere. So they know who did that.
Exactly.
That would be obvious. So to see how this plays out is going to be very interesting for next episode, which is after the Grammys.
So probably February 17th.
Something like that.
Something like
Or
that.
I think February 12th, and I'm going to tell you why in predictions.
Okay, so let's quickly, news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, so this show is still #1 for its time slot as far as I know, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and the writers are doing a great job. They've done, it's kind of like a first semester, second semester of a university kind of thing, going to school where it seems like this is like the first semester is over, and they brought this to a head right here with it's like the final exam.
Midterms right now.
Right, exactly. So the show did really well. I mean, the episode was really great, and the writing is coming along great, and the story development is really good. I'm pleased. I'm very pleased where the show is at and where it's going.
I have some news and gossip. So, Jason Amara and Carrie-Anne Moss, they were at the People's Choice Awards and they presented an award together.
Yes, they did.
And so I tweeted Jason saying, hey, you and Carrie-Anne Moss, you guys are looking good. They were both wearing black or something. So then he tweeted back saying, thanks, Bamm, and thanks for all the support that you guys do for the show.
Awesome.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Nice, Bamm.
Yeah. So shout out to Jason. Amara.
We went from Steve Rizzo. Now we got to get Jason O'Mara, Michael Chiklis, maybe Dennis Quaid, maybe Carrie-Anne Moss, maybe we shall see, maybe Sarah Jones, maybe Vanessa Shaw. Who knows?
Amy Garcia.
You can pull her away from Dexter. You know what I'm saying? I mean, anyway, so from this episode, Steve's like, don't pull her away from Dexter. Let's get into predictions of what's gonna happen next episode.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so quickly, we didn't see any foreshadowing for the next episode. I don't think they didn't show any. Okay, so much happened that was very, very crucial and pivotal to the development of the show. I mean, there's so many different ways things can go, and there are going to be a lot of different routes that can be taken and paths for the show. But let's go into predictions for week 13. Bamm Ericsen, go.
I was waiting for you to do that. My predictions is we're going to see more between Dixon and Yvonne. We're going to see more between Dixon and Yvonne. And we're going to see more between Dixon and Yvonne. And we're going to see more between Dixon and Yvonne. And we're going to see more between Dixon and Yvonne. And we're going to see more between Dixon and Yvonne. And we're going to see more between Dixon and Yvonne. And we're going to see more between Dixon and Yvonne. And we're going to see more between Dixon and Yvonne. And we're going to see more between Dixon and Yvonne. And we're going to see more between Dixon and Yvonne. And we're going to see more between Dixon and Yvonne. And we're going to see more between Dixon and Yvonne. And we're going to see more between Dixon and Yvonne. And we're going to see more between Dixon and Yvonne. And we're going to see more between Dixon and Yvonne. And we're going to see more between Dixon and Yvonne. And we're going to see more between Dixon and Yvonne. and she's gonna eventually cave in. Obviously, she caved in today because he showed up with the suits. Although I like his response, you know, I gotta have the suit back
In the morning. Yeah.
So she kind of liked that, and then he put his arm around. So it's gonna be a slowly build up. I think that Carrie-Anne Moss will get back to their relationship with her and Jack.
You mean her and Ralph?
Ralph. And then for Jack and Mia, I think that's going to be the center of attention for these next couple episodes because, you know, you have not only Mia and Jack, but, you know, the brothers, Ralph is going to have to get involved because he has to protect his brother. Then Rizzo is going to, you know, be a badass. So I think that is going to be the focus of the storyline for the next couple weeks or for the next couple episodes.
Okay. Sounds good.
Wow.
Nick Perdue, predictions? Go.
Don't you say Nicholas Perdue.
Nicholas Perdue.
I'm gonna agree with Bamm 100% everything he said. So his prediction is my prediction. But I did tweet Amy Garcia, and she did say that on February 12th, Yvonne has a real big episode.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know what it is, but this is insider information. She said she has a real big episode. So we want to see if we can get Amy Garcia in the studio
AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
for that episode.
Amy Garcia! Hope we can see you there. That would be dope. What I did like was Dixon's response to her really quickly in that scene when she showed up and he said, "How do you know I didn't have another date?" And he goes, "Well, if you were asking me, I figured you're already at the bottom of your list."
Yeah.
But he said it in such a smooth swag way, like, I know you want to hook up with this. So we trying to act like I ain't the man. You know, I like
Wait, like I ain't a lamb,
right.
girl.
You know what time it is.
I get it from my daddy.
I get it from my daddy. Well, my prediction is this. Vincent is gonna have to bring back
His wife.
he's gonna have to bring his wife back.
Okay.
Rizzo is not gonna get bumped off. Mia might have to get recruited by Savino and figure out what's going on because she gets thrown under the bus, and I think her dad's gonna find out. She's gonna find out that she got thrown under the bus before Rizzo gets bumped off, and then that's gonna cause a whole nother slew of problems.
What if Mia bumps him off?
I doubt that. Well, actually, to protect her man, you try to shoot my man, Daddy. I couldn't get a job in 30 Cents Corporations because of you.
That would be great. That would be a great twist.
That would be good TV.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Then she'd be all in.
Yeah.
She'd have to move into the ranch. Move out of the casino into the ranch. Move out of the Savoy. Oh my goodness. Thank you, AfterBuzzers, for tuning in this episode
sir.
of Intel. We have episode 13 of season 1 of CBS's Vegas. We shall see you guys then. Where can we find you guys?
You find me all over the internet at the Nick Perdue.
You can find me not everywhere on the internet, but you can find me in some places, such as Twitter, Bamm Ericsen.
You can find me on Twitter at Club Thaddeus, and you can find me and Bamm Ericsen here 6 o'clock on Tuesdays doing NBC's Deception. You can also find Nick on himskirt.com. Just kidding.
You've been waiting. You've been holding that one for
I
a
wasn't.
minute.
I just popped out. Really, that was
You
one of those.
did just pop out.
Until next week, guys. Have a good morning, good afternoon, or a good evening. We'll see you guys next time.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.